Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy Jam Moses back here with another Broth Cindy My Team podcast episode with my main man when it comes to talking my team on this channel, Harry. Harry, how's it going, my man?
Yo, it is going good. It's great to be back on the podcast. Let me tell you, I think it's been like an hour of like issues of my headphone not working and Jan's camera not working. So it's great to finally get everything going. It's good to be back. And it's been a while. I can't even remember the last time we did a podcast. So I'm excited. I think I told you earlier, I think I'm more excited to do this one than any other podcast because as Jan can attest, for some reason I love this time of year with the blogs and all the My Team news. And it's like a weird cycle where I'm way more excited to, play the new game than I am playing the current game. And it's the continuous cycle where we're peaking in excitement and speculation. And after the blog, it's really going downhill. So we really got to take in this time where I'm excited for My Team stuff coming forward.
I know. It's like that vicious cycle of you get your hopes up and then you get let down, and that cycle has been on repeat for the last few years, I feel like, when it comes to my team. Yeah, exactly. Like Harry said, there's going to be a lot of speculation in this podcast based off of the info that we got from the 2K25 pre-order details that came out on Twitter and on the 2K website. We're going to try and be somewhat organized in our attack of the content that we want to cover today. We're going to start with the My Team stuff and then touch on a couple of general 2K notes that we want to touch on before we wrap up the show. We're going to start with something that I know Harry is interested in talking about in a positive light, and that is the King of the Court, which was mentioned, I believe, as one of the only, if not the only, things in the My Team panel on the 2K website. So just really briefly, the main thing that they touch on here is they say challenge rival lineups with your all-time My Team roster, clash with other elite players in the weekly King of the Court. They talk about going head-to-head and being crowned the best of the best. You can collect new cards and earn great rewards. So I mean, a lot of fluff, a lot of very vague terminology being thrown in there. But again, Harry, as I mentioned at the top, you're pretty interested about this. So do you want to talk about why you are interested about the King of the Court?
Yeah, I really am, because there's two things. There's one, what I think it probably will be, and there's another thing, which I think I've been wanting in My Team for a very long time. And maybe it won't be as great now because of all the greedy 2K shenanigans that they try to pull on us. But I guess I'll start off what I think this probably will be. Like, for all we know, this could be just Weekend League or like limited, just renamed to King of the Court, because they did say weeklies, which would incline it will be a weekly thing that you can grind for. So that's kind of like my bare minimum expectation. They're just renaming it. But on the fun and exciting thing, one thing I've always wanted in My Team, maybe even since like 2K like 18, 19, it's been a while, which I never thought it would happen until maybe now. And it's a one-on-one kind of King of the Court type thing like they do in Park, where you can one-on-one with your My players. This, I would hope, I assume if they did this right, it would be a position cap where you can't go like Curry against like Shaq. Obviously, that would be unfair. But I think it could be so much fun for the community if they do a position cap where you can kind of bring in any player you want to go one-on-one with someone online in like a King of the Court fashion. I think if you can actually grind like rewards for this and grind, they make this like a mode that you have to play to get good rewards. I think this could be so much fun. Definitely will be cheesy, especially with the dribbling and how things are. But I feel like that's like a comp thing that like 2K needs to make it just more like vibrant. Like I can see streamers streaming this and having a lot of fun. And if they even add like a King of the Ring, like weekly like ranking board where maybe every week who is the best one-on-one My Team player, I think that could be awesome. I think, like I said, shenanigans will probably ruin this where they start releasing towards the end of the year, like point guard to Shaq or whatever. But I think for like the majority of the year before they start doing these stupid position players, I think this could be so much fun, especially in the beginning of the year. Like I said, this could be there. Reading the 2K blog stuff is like reading like the black market in 2K17 or whatever, where it's like cryptid in different languages. So it could literally mean anything. But what I would want from it would be that, and I think that could be a lot of fun. And like I said, I have been wanting this for years.
Now, okay, I get that. That is, you're saying that's what you want. Is that what you expect? Because my issue when it comes to what they're talking about here,
I expect Weekend League. Yeah.
Well, what I was gonna say is I don't even expect Weekend League. I think this is gonna just be the ring chase all over again. I think.
Sorry, what?
I think this is going to be like the whole unlimited ring chase. I think this is them just reskinning something. I don't think it's going to be anything one-to-one, because that second
Oh, yeah,
sentence where it
that's
says
what I meant. It's
all-time
gonna
My
be
Team roster, you know what I mean?
No, I agree. That's what I'm saying. That's bare minimum. That's what I think. It'll just be the same thing we're normally getting with a different title. But what I want, it's King of the Ring. I feel like there's one King of the Court, or whatever, King of the Ring, King of the Court. So I feel like there's a title for a reason. So I feel like I don't think I might not be that far up, because I feel like they would just name it something else. You know what I mean? And I feel like 2K, like they wouldn't normally hype something. And when I mean hype up, this is like their main objective that they've given us so far. King of the Court, that's their main prerogative that they're letting us look at.
Yeah.
So I feel like they're not just going to give us that and then just give us a copy and paste of the same thing with the new name. So I feel like this has got to be a new game mode or new game thing. And maybe it's not what I'm thinking, but I think it's got to be something new, or else why would this be their main heading, you know?
Yeah, no, I mean, I totally get that. Again, we're just trying to speculate and see what we think they could be putting out. I think it's going to be an unlimited style game mode.
Do you think you would enjoy playing something like that?
If it's a 1v1, probably not, because I'm not even a fan of triple threat online as much as I am clutch time online.
Yeah, see,
I like the
love
5v5 gameplay,
yeah.
you know?
Okay.
So, but I mean, hey, that's just me. I'm not saying, King of the Court has to appeal to every single player. Like, I'm not a 1v1 kind of guy, and I'd be totally cool with this if that is how you explain it.
Right. And I think especially if they make it so there's a leaderboard and you could be number one, like I think that could be really cool and something new.
See, that would be amazing. I just don't know if they would ever do that. Like, that's something that I know they used to have in Madden Ultimate Team with their weekend league, and they took that out and people were upset and they haven't brought it back. My team...
Well, they do that. They do that in Unlimited and stuff like that. You can see who's number one in the rankings.
That is true. So maybe in that regard, they could bring it out for this. I mean, yeah, that is a good point. They definitely could. But yeah, I mean, that's the only thing that I think you were somewhat interested in talking about in a positive light when it comes to what they announced yesterday, right?
Like I said, that's for me. Like, I love dribbling, obviously, in 2K. Like, I like the ISO player. So that, like, I love triple threat. I know we've all not disagreed, but that's not your fortitude. That I like that stuff.
Correct.
So like, this would be like a mode that like that would get me excited to play even without auction house or whatever. Like, I'd be excited. That'd be fun to like chill and play. So yeah, after this, it's going downhill. There's nothing positive I have to say about 2K.
Yeah, I mean, maybe this is also a way, if they do go the route that you're saying, if they go with like a 1v1 type of route with your My Team cards, maybe that's a way for 2K to try and lure the people that are Park loyals to come and play My Team, being like, you're not playing 5v5, you're playing 1v1, just like you do whenever you're playing with your My Player in the rec or in the park or something like that, or in My Career. So
yeah, and even going further, to say one more thing, even if like we'll talk about this, so I'm just gonna like give a little preview for what's to talk about. If they do take MT out of the game and there is only a VC currency, it would be sick if they added like a stage kind of one-on-one thing like they do in Park, where you can compete with VC against other people in the 1v1. Like, there's no reason why they can't do that, because they do that for Park. So like, that would be fun. Like, I'd love to do that.
Sure, I mean, definitely. But again, in my opinion, when it comes to anything My Team, this is what they do. They talk about things vaguely, and because of the potential that we know they have as a video game company with this kind of license, we expect a lot. Not even expect. We know that there is the potential for a lot to be accomplished, but we don't expect anything because this company is just very
Here's the
consistent.
thing. Let me say one more thing.
Yeah.
Let me say one more thing. I think that's the reason why I'm confident that this could be it, is because when 2K adds stuff like this, you always have to think, what's their agenda? What are they supposed to add from it? When they start adding these centers that are point guard, and you could use those point guards in the capped PG one-on-one, like that alone, if this is like a high priority game mode, that people are going to be ripping packs and spending money to get those cards. So I feel like that alone would be a good like incentive for 2K to want to do something like that.
Sure. But with that said, do you have anything else you want to touch on with the King of the Court?
No, that's it.
Yeah, I feel like that's all. Okay, good. All right, well, again, we're definitely intrigued to see what they're going to do with King of the Court in NBA 2K25 My Team. The next thing, we're not going to spend too much time talking about the entirety of what's in this list, but the pre-order bonuses came out. I'm not going to go through each and every one. There was a nice graphic I saw on Reddit that I could have brought up. I'll probably bring it up while Harry's talking. But for the Hall of Fame edition, outside of getting League Pass for the whole year and the Pro Pass for season 1. You get some VC in general. You get 100K. You get some My Career content, which I'm not really going to talk about all that much. And then we get a My Team promo box if you get the Hall of Fame edition. That includes 10 My Team player cards with 3 that are 89 overall, 3 Diamond Shoe boosts, an Amethyst coach card, and then 3 takeover boosts. So Harry, my question for you, because we talked about this a little bit yesterday over text, what do you think these takeover boosts mean, and where could you see takeover boosts going in NBA 2K25 My Team?
Yeah, so this is I will say this is something I am looking forward to in a way, because like I am listen, I'll say this to begin my ramble. Maybe I'm in the I don't think I'm in the minority. I think I'm the secret majority, and people don't want to admit this or accept this. And the truth is, and I think this is the case with every sports game, Madden, MLB 2K, the more simulation and realistic and great graphics things get, the less fun the games are. That's why people like 2K17 and 16 and all the old 2Ks. It's why people have nostalgia for the old Maddens and all that. It's because the graphics aren't amazing, but the gameplay is fun. And I think the more artistically whatever pleasing the game looks, and Curry looks just like real life, the least fun it's going to be, because people don't want, people get the game to play a game, they don't get the game to watch basketball. So, and I think takeover was one thing that made the game it took this very simulation game and it made it a little bit more arcadey, which I think is good for and healthy for the game and makes it more fun. Like 2K19, when they first brought in takeover, it was very arcadey, and I thought it was a lot of fun. Like when you were hot, like shooting. Like if you had the shooting takeover, you were gonna make every open, if not some contested. The post takeover was insane. You were able to post and do crazy fades and stuff like that, and that stuff made the game more fun. And it's realistic in a way, because like when being hot, if you play basketball, being hot from 3 or being hot from shooting, 2K, like I think Jan even said, you don't even really notice when you're hot because it makes no difference. You notice when you're cold, of course, that'll affect you, but there's no difference in you being hot. So I think adding takeover and having a highlight on this being in the game again excites me, because I think it'll make the gameplay more fun. The takeover boosts, I think, are going to be interesting. It really depends on if there's an auction house, what they're going to do with it, because like I have a feeling what they'll end up doing is pretty much the players that will come out are going to have specific takeover like boosts that they can put on. Like maybe, Diamond LeBron can get slashing takeover, but you can't put the 3-point takeover on until he's like an opal dark matter. So I think that'll be another step 2K is going to add to make you want to get these higher up players. So it's not just a change in stats or badges that are going to, make a player seem more, better than the other tier. So I think that's what they'll probably end up doing. Which see, the thing is, I think that's cool and that's fine, because you see that in like Madden, where like, maybe not I haven't played Madden in years, but maybe like a certain 6 Aaron Rodgers can get escape artist or whatever, but 90 and below can't, you know what I mean? So I find with that, and I think it's good. Like there should be an incentive to get these higher up players. But if 2K goes the same route that they did this year, where the only way you can get these high cards with these high takeovers are going to be from spending money, and that's not even a guarantee, and not from getting them from the auction house or getting them from whatever, that's when it's not cool, and that's when it's completely unfair, and you're making it so that the people who spend money have not only an advantage of getting the better cards, but they have an advantage of getting these like insane takeovers that are going to be OP and that are going to like infiltrate every game mode you play online. So like I said, this will come down to, I think if this was a normal world where there is an auction house and you can get these cards from the auction house, I think this is an awesome idea, and it's great that there is an incentive to upgrade your cards. But if that's not what they're doing, and they're just going to make it gamble only and my casino, whatever you want to call it, then I think this is awful. This is going to make me not want to play the game, and it's just going to ruin online for the people who don't spend money every week on the good cards.
Yeah. I think it is. It's very interesting that they kind of just like put that into the pre-order bonuses, because I think getting 3 diamond shoe cards and then getting 3 takeover boosts, I do feel like it's going to be an item that's not going to last. I mean, maybe we'll get some that will last like for an infinite amount of time, like diamond shoes. Maybe they're just for a temporary amount of time. I honestly have no idea how how that's gonna work.
No, but if I can cut you off for 1 second, what I think they'll end up doing is, and maybe if they're going this way, I see them giving us like three like shitty takeovers, like could be like defense or like paint protection or something. And we're like if they do what I'm saying, and we don't get the 3 point or the dunking, and we don't get these insane takeovers, you know what I mean? I could see that happening where like they are maybe infinite, but they're not like we're not gonna get the good takeovers for free.
Yeah, I mean, it could definitely be that. I think this is one of those things where it's kind of like with King of the Court. They can go in a variety of ways. The main things that I'm going to be
Yeah,
interested in
right.
is how long do they last for? How do you acquire them? Are they going to be VC only? Are they going to be, can you get them out of packs? A lot of that stuff, can they be applied to any card? Or is it like, if I have, like, for example, I have I point guard Draymond Green, the Aftershock Dark Matter in my team. And before I gave him a diamond shoe, his takeover was defense. And now with the shoe that I gave him, his takeover is sharpshooting. Can I give that Draymond Green any takeover, or does it have to be, whatever takeover he has based on his stats? So I have a lot of questions with regard to that. For me, though, ultimately, and I was talking to Harry about this a day or two ago, I feel like takeovers really didn't do that much in my team this year. Like, if my players had sharp takeover, they weren't really making crazier shots than they were hitting
Yeah.
before they got take. And defensive take, I didn't really see a lot more crazy defensive animations happening than before they got their take to be activated. So we'll have to see if they make takeover boosted. I know, Harry, you were talking about this before, that you're a big fan of when takeovers were a little bit more OP back in the day, like, meaning not even back in
Yeah.
the day, like 4
It needs
years
to be
ago.
alright, yeah. It
You know,
makes the game so like more fun, arcade like, which it needs, you know.
Yeah, I mean, again, like, I think we'll disagree. I'm always pro sim. I just love sim basketball. I know it's boring, but I like
Really?
boring.
Yeah, exactly.
I win. It's the ugly games that I win. My I think relatively good record in Clutch Time Online is because I slow the game down and I try to beat you ugly. That's just what I do. You know?
Okay, then let me ask you then, and we don't have to get into the whole thing, but and I'm just curious what your opinion is. I would say that the 2K24, the current state, it's the most simulation 2K we've ever had, and I think it gets more simulation by the year. Like, do you think this gameplay that we have now is better than a 2K17 gameplay?
Well, you know what I'll say is it's tough to say because, right now what I don't love is how effective fades are. I hate that you can just fade, and I feel like a fading jumper is better sometimes than a wide open jumper that you take standing still and catching and shooting. So I don't love that. I really liked the gameplay in 2K16 and 17, and I didn't really feel like it was too arcadey because in the games that I played, I felt like I controlled the pace and the tempo of the game. Um, I just don't know if it was really that arcadey back then.
Yeah, but I don't mean arcade like I don't mean arcadey like NBA Jam, but like the dribbling and the movement was quick and fast, and everything is so slow in these newer 2Ks. Like dribbling, like you could like Curry and all the NBA players could dribble faster in real life than they can on this game, which I think is ridiculous because it's a video game. I mean, I mean arcade in terms of like speed and how like fast the game is. Like I don't know. I feel like like 2K24 in general, it's a very slow game. And the last few 2Ks I think have been like, kind of slow, and I feel like the takeover stuff and made it. I don't mean arcadey like it's like you're making everything. I don't know. It makes it more like I don't know. It's weird, like more like it's like fun. I don't know. I'm not saying that I hate the gameplay. I just think it's very like rigid, maybe. You know? I don't know
Yeah,
if
no,
that makes
I
sense.
definitely get that. I definitely get that. And I think, again, I may be in the minority. Like, I enjoy, not that I love this
Okay.
gameplay. There's definitely plenty of flaws in this gameplay, but I'm also not a dribbler. Like, you're a big dribbler. You love the
Mm.
ISO game. I don't. I'm a system player. I like to run schemes,
Okay.
stuff like that. So, but I'm not saying that,
Yeah.
like, my stance is king, is superior. It's not, you know.
No, no, no. You're not the king of the court.
That's true. Well, we'll see in 2K25. If I end up getting the game, I'll try to be king of the court potentially, but we'll have to see.
There we go.
But yeah, in terms of takeover boosts, I think that those are our main thoughts. One very interesting thing to note, though, when it comes to the pre-order bonuses, is they don't mention getting MT anywhere in the pre-order or anything like that. And if you look at the Pro Pass for season 1, you can see right here, if you get the Pro Pass, it says 4 additional automatic season pass rewards along with 45,000 VC. So I think this is one of the big things that came out of what they revealed on the 2K website yesterday, because it led to a lot of people freaking out on Twitter, wondering if we're not going to be seeing MT coming back. Now, in the FAQs, one of the questions has an answer saying that NBA 2K25 has a shared VC wallet, and that because of MyTeam cross progression, it'll enable MyTeam points, which is MT, along with a bunch of other things to be carried, amongst different generations, which I think just means kind of like this past year, if you play the Xbox One or PS4 version of NBA 2K24, and then if you have the same family, right? Like if you have a PS4 and you play the previous version, and then you go up to the PS5, you'll be able to carry over all your currency. Now I don't know if they just copied and pasted this, like DBG was implying potentially on here. So there really is no concrete evidence, in my opinion, that MyTeam is coming back, or MyTeam points are coming back, MT is coming back. So this is like opening up Pandora's box. I'm just gonna throw it, as I always do, to you, Harry. What are your thoughts on MT? Where do you think it's going in NBA 2K25? And then along with that, really quickly, before you share your thoughts, as a follow-up, I'm going to ask you the question that I asked you last week. What do you think is the most likely scenario in NBA 2K25 MyTeam? We get the player market back, we get the auction house from 2K23 back, or we have no player market, no auction house, and we just go strictly packs?
Yeah. The whole thing is weird because everything, basically everything did not mention my team points, the season rewards, the pre-order rewards, but there's like a little my team points blurb in, like you said, the cross-play information. So you would think maybe there's hope. And then they did ask Ronnie 2K what he thought, or like if my MT is going to be in the game, and he kind of said that he can't confirm or deny, kind of so the whole thing is just weird. Like maybe it was an accident, they didn't mean to put it, but the fact that even with that they're still not really confirming it. So I don't know. I don't know. The whole thing is weird. I mean, I'm obviously on pro auction house. Like, I want to have an auction house in 2K. If there is not an auction house, I'm not getting 2K. Like, I'm done. This 2K for me, 2K24 was my glimpse into how 2K is going to operate with that one, and they failed me. The little prequel into the or preview into our my team review. So if we get VC only, there's not going to be an auction house, and I think that's just going to be the end of my team, because you're not going to be able to, or you're not going to be able to buy people on the auction house with VC. Like, I don't know, or you're not going to be able to like make VC from playing the game. In my team is what I meant to say. So like at that point, like the third option that we talked about, it's just going to become like a mobile app pretty much, where everything is packs and there's no auction house or player market. So like, I really hope that's not the case. I hope that there is MT and this is a gateway back to the auction house, because at least before I saw the news, I know this is kind of a rant or a whatever the word is. I'm talking about everything, but I really do, in my heart of hearts, I think we are getting the auction house back, and we will see MT back in my team. Like, I just think with all the hate, it would be insane not to bring it back. And when I say auction house, I don't think we will ever get the auction house that we were accustomed to back in 2K23 and before that. Like, if we get this auction house, I would say by like November, Thanksgiving promo, if not definitely the Christmas promo, no way it's beyond that we are going to be getting special inserts, and we're going to be getting all that stuff again, where cards will only be in packs and you can't get them from the auction house. Like, that's going to suck, and I know that's a guarantee at this point, but at least if we have an auction house, we have the option to snipe. And like, it's, you can make the case it'll be the same thing, like the same bum mid-tier players that we get in the player market now will just be in the auction house, but at least we will be setting the prices. It won't be like 2K putting a card up on the player market for a ridiculous price, and that's the player we get, and that's all we have. At least we have the ability to snipe for lower prices, or at least we'll be setting the prices, so everything will be more fair than what 2K has been giving us, since they've done, I think, an awful job of setting the prices for the most part. So yeah, I know that's very long-winded. I hope we get the auction house. I'm being optimistic, because if not, I'm just not gonna play 2K. This will be the last year I get. But I don't know, I'll end it. The whole thing is weird because, like I said, they did mention my team like in one little thing in the cross-platform. But yeah, you would think if we were getting my team points, I don't know why they wouldn't just confirm it instead of saying we'll see. So Who knows? We'll see. I think we get the auction house back, but we get special inserts. That's my final answer.
Okay. Um, so I asked this question, the one that I shared at the end before I let Harry go off on his diatribe, about those three choices: player market coming back, auction house coming back, packs only, as the three different scenarios in terms of the future of my team and what we see coming in NBA 2K25. I asked him that question last week, and we like kind of gave each other some clues as to what our answers would be. Um, I don't really feel strongly, obviously, about any of these because I do feel like NBA 2K24 post All-Star break really became a case study. It became like a social experiment done by Take Two to see what ways can they extrapolate the most money from their community. And I think when we saw these special inserts come out, and we saw more and more people complaining, and we saw more and more people leave the My Team scene in terms of content creators and stuff like that. I think initially we thought that 2K would take more of a negative impact financially. It has not been the case. They seem to be making, I think, a lot more money than a lot of us had kind of hoped they would make when they made this change to putting cards as pack only cards and giving us kind of like breadcrumbs in the player market. We're getting a Dark Matter Minute Bowl in the player market tomorrow, which in a way is kind of exciting. But like if you were to say that, you know, Dark Matter Minute Bowl is the most exciting card we're getting in the player market this year, and we're in July, I think that's pretty lame, personally. I think
Yeah.
if I had to rank the order that I gave to Harry of those three options, I would have the auction house coming back as the least likely option right now because I think
Wow.
2K saw how much
Yep.
money they made, and I think 2K also saw that in making all these special inserts a thing since mid-February, I think they saw what we've been seeing, the lack of value in MT. I think MT has not been this undervalued, I think, ever in my team, in my opinion, in my team history. MT has like zero value right now. You know, I feel like MT packs are awful. MT can only be used to buy players from the player market right now. And if you look at where we are at right now, we are in the middle of July. The new game is coming out in less than 2 months. And yet, if we want to buy cards from the player market, from the latest promos each week, we only get 3 cards out of the, if you're counting Go cards, I think we're getting like anywhere from like 8 to 10 cards a week, roughly. I can't do that math in my head that quickly. But if you add like, what is it, the 4 Go cards, the 3 100s, or sorry, 4 Go cards, 4 or 5 100s, we're getting like upwards of like 10 plus cards a week, but only 3 of them are available in the player market, and the cheapest is 315k MT. So they really don't care about MT at all. They want us to get VC. Now, I don't think they're going to get rid of MT because I don't see how 2K would let us, like, why would we play and grind out games offline if we can't earn MT? Because what I don't think 2K is going to do is let us earn VC from grinding domination and triple threat
Yeah. No
offline.
way.
You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. They're not
Right.
going to do that. So I think MT will come back. I feel like the most likely scenario, in my opinion, and they're kind of close, like 1A and 1B. I could definitely see the player market coming back. And then to Harry's point, I could see them going the special insert route much earlier in the year than February of, you know, the following year. Like I could see, like, you know, we got special inserts in the game with that 100 overall Kareem and the All-Star Galaxy Opals during what that was like the third week in February. I could see special inserts coming in, like Harry said, November, December, around that time, if they don't start with it at the beginning of the year. I think there's a good chance that we see the game go packs only, and that they put in a lot of good grinds to get good players. I personally would not love that because I feel like one thing that I do like, and we will talk about this in our future podcast covering, you know, the way NBA 2K24 went down. One thing I do like is that there is a good amount of variability in the lineups that I play against online. I also don't play unlimited. Maybe if I were to get into the higher brackets of SBMM, I would see the same kind of God Squad lineups all the time. But in Clutch Time Online, I see a fair amount of variety, and I kind of like that. I don't know if we would get that if they go packs only, but I could see them doing that. For now, I'll say player market will make a return because I don't know if 2K is going to bail on it that early, especially with their current model of the player market, I think making them a good amount of money. And I do think that MT will be back. Maybe they'll make it a little bit more difficult to earn next year. But I'd be okay with that if they made packs and other players
You know
cheaper.
what? Can I say one more thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
You know why I think we'll get the auction house back? Because, like you said, right now, the MT has no value whatsoever. And I think what people need to understand is if we get the auction house and it like they do the same thing by November, December, we start getting these special inserts. There is literally zero difference practically in 2K's eyes of what we're getting now. Like MT still won't really mean that much. The best cards we won't have access to in the auction house. So that's why I would like to think, and like what I would like to think is still not a great scenario, but like what I think will happen is I think the ultimately, we kept thinking throughout the whole year, when will the make right month happen where they're just going to snap their fingers and we get all access to the cards and we can, that's not happening this year. We know that. Yeah. I would like to think that their make right is going to be bringing the auction house back, and they're going to start the year on a super high. People are going to be back in the game. All the people who quit and said they're not coming back are going to be playing because they love the auction house. And I think they'll let that high, that make right sink in the beginning of the game, and then boom, November time, they'll add these special inserts and it'll be the same thing. So that's why I feel like there's no reason to bring the player market back. Like it failed. Like we don't like it. It failed 2K because they had to do these special inserts to make money because it did such a shitty job on all rights. So like I just feel like there's no if we were to rank them like you said 1, 2, 3, I think player market coming back is like last because it had no positive for anyone, 2K or us. So that's why I do think we get the auction house back because there would be no difference. Like we'd be able to snipe and stuff like that, which we would appreciate. But like the grand scheme of things, getting the best cards in the game, it would be the same thing we're doing now.
Yeah, no, that's very, very true. Again, I just feel like 2K, the way they've been this year, I think they've always been greedy. This is an all-time level of greed. And I could see 2K being like, I don't want to see our community make any profit. There was no sniping. There was no flipping for a profit with the player market. And I think 2K views player market as a way to control the community. What's up?
No, I'm saying if I see that perspective and I get that, but at the same time, if MT doesn't mean anything, and it's the same thing as now where the only cards you can get from the auction house are going to be those mid-tier cards, because I don't see the difference. Because honestly, I'll also add this because I was going to say this earlier. If we do get the auction house, I think that's why MT isn't mentioned in pre-order or the seasonal, because it's going to go back to MT being hard to make from the games. We're not going to have the auction house and MT being easy to make fairly easily from playing the game. It'll be the same thing. You know what I mean? I think it'll balance out.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. Again, I think honestly all three options I think are very viable in terms of what 2K could do. I would not be surprised at all. I also think, when it comes to the auction house, a big thing is I know in Madden Mobile, they had a lot of bots on, I think, their previous auction house, and that's why they went, I think, full gacha game, I believe. They have no auction house, it's basically all packs as a way to counter the bots. I think there's a very good chance that the MyTeam mobile app will update for NBA 2K25, and I think if that happens, one of my main reasons why they would not bring back the auction house is because I don't think the auction house would be a console exclusive, and if they were to have that on the MyTeam mobile app, a lot of people would be botting and making a lot of MT that way. And I don't think 2K wants that. As a member of the community, I don't want that. I think that's awful. And so I think if the MyTeam mobile app is a thing next year, the auction house is not coming back. I would be shocked. So that's what I think.
Point. Yeah.
So is there anything else you want to touch on when it comes to
no
MT?
Matter what that. Yeah, I was just going to end it on saying we can agree that the old ways of 2K and the auction house, we will not be seeing that next year. We will not have a year of having an auction house and no special inserts. That's, you know what I mean? We know that no matter what, we're heading into that territory sooner than later, I think.
Yeah, because I think what 2K ultimately realized this year is, to no one's surprise, the player market, the way it was instituted at the beginning of NBA 2K24 led to 2K making less money than expected, and less money than they probably made in 2K23 up until February. But I think the way they use the player market along with special inserts starting during the All-Star weekend, I think 2K possibly made more money now than they made during...
Yeah.
What's up?
No, I said yeah.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah, you're right.
exactly. No, I mean, I think there's so many people that we don't see on YouTube, on Twitter, on the My Team subreddit who rip a ton of packs. Every once in a while, I'll go on Twitter and I'll see one of the My Team figureheads on Twitter will retweet someone who shares a picture of their account and they have like five, or four GOAT cards or however many GOAT cards there are right now, and all these 100 overalls, and they have no dark matters. Their lowest tier is 100 overalls, and these are people that are like not content creators. They're just people that have all this money, or they just choose to spend all this money on My Team, knowing full well that next year that team is going to be not really irrelevant, but it's not going to be the most relevant when 2K25 is out, and they're okay with doing that and spending their money on the game like that. And I think there are enough whales out there that we don't see, that don't have any visibility because they choose not to, out there lining up 2K's pockets, that they could bring back this same model that we've had in My Team since All-Star Weekend, and 2K will be totally fine because they will carry them. There are plenty of people who will play the game next year, even if they don't make any changes, which is really sad to see, but, it is what it is. Is there anything else you want to add to the MT portion of the pod, Harry?
Oh, I think we covered it all.
Okay, amazing. I think outside of that, there really isn't anything else with the My Team stuff. The only thing I want to add, I think another positive that hopefully will stay, is it looks like they're going to be hopefully at least starting with the same kind of pacing we had as last year, where the highest tier in week 1 I think was an amethyst, which was great. I know you're a big fan of that, Harry. Anything you want to add, touch on when it comes to that?
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I think if we get the auction house back and they stick with that pacing, I'll be all right with that. If you could just give me like a few months of 2K being at its best, then it'll go downhill. But at least we get those few months. But I'm glad they are sticking with the pacing, because I think 2K realized after years and years of doing this, starting with diamonds and pink diamonds, and then all excitement being downhill for future cards is just idiotic. So, that's one thing Jan and I were like beaming positive about the first like 3 seasons or whatever. Because I think we didn't even get diamonds till like the end of season 2 or something like that. Like we were very high on that. So I'm glad 2K's keeping that going. And I think it's great that they're giving us rubies to start out the year. There's actually a point to getting the pre-order. Like I remember in 2K18, if you pre-ordered the game, you got a ruby shack. And amethyst were the best cards in the game, like similar to now. So having that ruby shack was big in the beginning of the year, and I felt like we didn't really get that. What did we get? A ruby Giannis? So that was a pretty good card, but like the fact that we get 3 rubies now, I think that's awesome. That the people who pre-order the game get to start the game with a good card, or 3 good cards, because I think that's how it should be. There should be more incentive, especially if they're not giving us MT, which is ridiculous. Since I think we got like 50K last year, so now we don't have any of that. So. Listen, 100K VC and 3 rubies, it's not bad. And the takeover boost. So I think that if you are, I'm not pre-ordering the game till I read that blog. I got to see if the auction house is back. I got to see what they're doing with MT. But I think if everything's cleared, I think those are all good reasons to pre-order the game.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say I don't think you don't get any incentive, any bonuses for pre-ordering the game today. You could pre-order the game the day before the game comes out, and you'll get the same exact bonuses.
Right.
I don't see what the rush is to put your money down on a game where we know like barely anything about. We've gotten bare bones breadcrumbs basically when it comes to the information that we've gotten so far.
Oh, and listen, and even the cover design, which we're going to talk about, is so bad. So if you're excited to get that game immediately after seeing that cover design, then listen, good for you, I guess. But I'm a Jew. I'm not throwing my money away like that until I see what we're getting.
Well, I guess why don't we just jump into the cover design, because we covered everything that is related to My Team. I have the 4 covers up right here. It was the same shot that I showed to start off this podcast. I'm not really all that passionate about covers anymore because, for me, the days of going out and buying hard copies of the game it's not really here for me anymore. I used to love it when I was younger, but nowadays it's just so much more convenient to just download the game ahead of time on your console, so that when, the day where the game is supposed to drop comes, the game's ready to go, instead of you having to go and get the game and then bring it home and then download it. So, but if you are into that, which I still respect people who are into the covers, this may be a down year for you. So Harry, I know you're pretty passionate about this because you're big into a lot of the different, art and the GUI stuff, the graphical user interface on my team and stuff like that. So what are your thoughts on these potentially AI made covers that are going to be displayed on NBA
Yeah,
2K25?
yeah. I mean, the interface alone is something I've talked about a lot throughout the podcast, especially with the seasonal changes. How every season it's a different interface, and maybe it's weird. I know it's a basketball game, but if it's like a shitty interface, I'll be least likely wanting to play. But if it's a good interface, I'll want to play. I don't know if that's like a psychological thing with colors, or maybe some colors bring out the effect. I don't know, it's even like the older 2Ks, like 2K17 and 18, the My Team, how it looked. I had like the whiteness and it was very bright, and I like that. And I feel like now it's very dark and gloomy, and it's just sad. But yeah, the cover, like you, I haven't gotten a disc game in God knows how long. But it's more than that. It's what you look at. It's what you look at when you turn on the PS5 and you see that, or the Xbox, and you see the icon of the game. It's what you look at when you press on the game and that's your loading screen. It's what you look at in the main menu. It's gonna have some sort of effect on my team. And listen, it's clear that 2K, they don't care about what we want. They just do what they can to make money. But I think this more than anything is like a slap in the face. They could literally do an AI thing that takes 2 seconds and not put any effort in it, and that's what we're getting. Like I think that's such an fu to the people who are getting the game. Like that's all the effort you can put into it. Like even Hank the Tank, another YouTuber I like, he talked about how the 2K20 Dwayne Wade cover looked incredible. Like you could tell there's a lot of work in it. It looked great. This literally looks like I could have made this. It looks like you literally took a photo of Tatum. You went into like an NBA crowd in the background and blurred the photo. Like I could have done that, and I have no skill whatsoever in graphic design or whatever. Like it's ridiculous. Like it's awful. Like I know this is such a stupid thing to get upset about because there's so many other shitty things. At least put in a little bit of effort to make it seem like you want us to get excited about the game, because this is the first stuff you see with the game. You see the cover design, you see the athlete, and then after that you see everything else. If you're not even putting effort into, they have so much money. If you can't just pay someone to do a cool design to get people hyped about their own game, then it's like, come on, because it's ridiculous. And like Tatum, I mean, listen, that's a whole other thing, but he wasn't even the Finals MVP. You should have given it to Brown out of all people. But that's a whole different thing. But yeah, I don't know. It's a bit infuriating to me just how lack of effort, because it looks so terrible. Like they could have people, I saw online, people on Twitter, people that are like 15, 16 making better designs than that. So it's like, I'm just like, if that's any sign of if that's any indication of where this game is heading, then like it's not a good look. Because that, and the fact that if they can't put any effort into that, they're not. You think they're going to put any effort into anything else?
Yeah, I mean, again,
Especially after one more thing, especially after such a shitty year that 2K24 was on all aspects. Park people didn't like it, rec people didn't like it, career people didn't like it. No one liked this game, and now we have Madden and this college football game that's coming out that is so hyped up and everybody is so excited for. This would have been the time to give something cool and vibrant and exciting that people are excited at, and like they couldn't even do that. So it's ridiculous.
I know, I know. I mean, I have the only thing I'll say about, you know, I definitely want to save a lot of my thoughts on NBA 2K24 for our next pod. As for the college football game that's coming out, I do really want to see. I know there are a couple of my team creators that are going that route, which I give them a lot of credit for. Making a big move like that to, you're sticking with sports games as your genre, but you're going from basketball to college football, I think is pretty bold. And I think unless you're going to be very, very serious about tackling that game as your primary game, I think there's going to be a world where we see a good amount of the NCAA content creators that are playing Ultimate Team in that game are going to leave to go either back to playing Madden Ultimate Team when that game comes out later on in September or August, excuse me, or we're going to see some of them who are the resident 2K heads, even if they said that they left my team, come back to playing my team, even if the blog isn't all that appealing. And maybe that's because for them, maybe the money won't be there with NCAA and their content creation there. Maybe the money's not going to be there. You know, the money, the enjoyment, stuff like that. Because one thing I will say, and this is not me taking a shot necessarily at my team content creators, there are a lot of Madden content creators that are going to be doing NCAA. And as someone who was a part of the Madden community and just played a lot of Madden from Madden 20, basically through Madden 23, I played like a good amount of those Maddens. In my opinion, and I know that's just my opinion as like an older person, I guess in the sports gaming community, I think for me the content creators on MUT are just incredible. A lot of them are very entertaining and good, and I think a lot of people who are viewers of these My Team creators that are going to play NCAA, they're going to be like, I want to go watch NCAA content, and instead of booting up and watching My Team content creator X and Y playing NCAA, they're going to find incredible content creators like Gutfox, who I love, like MMG, you know, even a guy like a Xerxes, you know, Throne, if he does NCAA,
Oh my God,
Maze-O-Matic. There's so many good Madden
hour.
content creators out there that are so talented and so good because they care about what they do. And Madden Ultimate Team is also objectively not a great game mode right now, but the content creators find ways to squeeze water out of rocks when it comes to that game mode. And I feel like I'm hopeful that the people that are going to give that game a chance are going to get to appreciate those guys and their content creation. I don't even plan on getting that game, and I'm looking forward to watching guys like Gutfox create content on that game. As for the covers, really quickly, because that was a bit of a tangent, it does suck that it looks so lazy, and I'm in lockstep with Harry. If the effort they're putting into the covers is any indication for what we're going to be seeing across all game modes in NBA 2K25, we're in for a very long year. That's all I have to say about that.
Yeah.
Any other closing remarks you have, Harry? I think that was everything that I had on my list of topics that I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, I know. I think that's about it. It is kind of funny. I guess I got the most passionate about the cover design, but like we said, it's ridiculous. This is like, you know, for all the wrestling fans, I made the comparison to like AEW starting out. You know, when WWE was at its coldest, like it's like they are doing this college football game is being so hyped up and everybody's so excited to play it, and the reason why I do think people are going to stick with that gen actually is because the gameplay looks like a ton of fun. It's very fast paced, so I can see that being like a 2K17 kind of thing where like there's not a lot of stuff to do, but the gameplay is so much fun that people are going to want to stick on it. But either way, there's so much hype around it where it's like this was their opportunity to do something to get people excited. And I really like, it's like I get that the cover design like maybe won't make them a lot of money in the grand scheme of things, but it's like they keep shooting themselves in the left foot because they're doing things that are hurting themselves, and they're taking away money that they could be making and excitement, because excitement is revenue. And there's a reason why everybody's talking about Madden and so much positive about it, and everybody is leaving 2K, it seems like right now, where everybody wants to play different games, and that their top My Team YouTubers are wanting to do other stuff. Like that's not good for the game. Like everything is all interactions. When you see TikToks and people on Twitter, everything is all positive stuff. When you see people like Fortnite, when they brought back the current seasons, a lot of people were playing, or the older seasons, because there's so much talk about it that people wanted to play it. So when all you see on 2K is negative, it's hurting the game. I don't care what anyone has to say about it.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I think it's going to be very interesting next month. I'm curious to see
that's
how
the shit they want to give us. And don't get upset when people are less excited to play the game.
Yeah, no, definitely. No, I agree. We'll see. I think there's a lot of things that I'm interested in seeing, whether it's NCAA related or related to the blog that we get for NBA 2K or NBA 2K25 and My Team in NBA 2K25. Harry, do you have any other closing remarks you want to get off your chest before we get on out of here? Anything? I don't know if Harry can hear me. All right, well, I can't hear Harry. I don't know what happened. I know the audio was kind of struggling there a little bit at the end.
Hey, I'm back.
Oh, you're back. Okay. Any closing remarks before we get on out of here?
Yep. Yes. Sorry, what'd you ask?
No, I was asking, give any closing remarks before we wrap this up. All right. Well, I don't know if Harry's doing okay. I think just to be safe, I'm gonna wrap this up because I think he got off everything else that he had on his chest or off of his chest. I appreciate Harry for hanging out, sharing all of his thoughts. We just wanted to quickly go over our thoughts on what we saw in terms of NBA 2K25 pre-orders, and then speculate a little bit about what we could be seeing when the blog comes out in about a month or so. We'll be doing a deep dive into the blog when that comes out in late August, covering NBA 2K25, and we'll probably have our decisions around that time as to whether or not we're going to be purchasing NBA 2K25 and playing my team. You know, as of right now, I'm kind of 50-50, which is a better stance than I guess I had coming into this year. And that's mostly, honestly, because of you guys. I've gotten so much support on the Brock's Into YouTube channel when it comes to not just my uploads, but my streams, especially lately. We've been averaging double-digit viewers, which has been awesome. That's a milestone that I didn't even expect to hit on YouTube, which is great, and I appreciate all you guys. It's all because of you guys that I can hit that number, obviously. And so for that reason alone, it's the content creation and the interaction with you guys that has made this game during the latter stages of its lifespan so much more enjoyable. So shout out to you guys. I appreciate all you guys. We'll see you guys in the next My Team pod, where we'll be going over NBA 2K24 as a whole, things we liked, the things we didn't like, and maybe our final grade for the game. But yeah, until next time, whenever that may be, we'll see you guys later.